Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Band of Barbers podcast. As always, I'm your host, Devon Evans, and thank you guys for tuning in. Tonight is episode number 74. Tonight is also New Year's Eve. Tonight's episode is going to be a little shorter, a little more concise than a lot of other episodes. But I'm getting this episode started at 11:28. Right. So just want to let you guys know tonight's episode and what we're going to be talking about tonight is about those barber soft skills. So if you listen to the last couple episodes, I've been talking more about things of that nature. So tonight I really want to, not do a deep dive, but just kind of talk about some of the soft skills as we look into 2024 and giving you guys some things to think about and giving you guys some things to think about as you look into 2024. And this is to help new barbers, old barbers, barbers who want to be just preparing yourself and understanding. So tonight we're going to talk about effective communication, attention to detail, customer service, time management, creativity, and adaptability. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Listen, guys, effective communication is one of those things that's vital, not only in the shop, but it's vital within life. So you have to keep that in mind. It's vital within the shop, and it's vital within life. A lot of issues that people have come about due to ineffective communication. Right? So what does that look like behind a chair? Well, it's understanding clearly what clients desire, need, and everything like that. We are not mind readers, okay? And I see some barbers who will get behind a chair and the client goes to tell them like, oh, I want it short on the sides and I want it short on the sides and just scissors on the top. And that's the only directions that the client gives. The barber asks no other questions. And so he just picks up the clippers and he just starts going at it. Right? He's just going at it and he has no idea. And not all the time, but then if the client is upset, then generally a lot of times the barber is confused. Oh, why are they upset? Well, you have to understand the client is upset because you didn't listen to them. You didn't take the time to understand what they were asking for, what they were looking for. You just assumed, hey, this is what I normally do for people. And you just have to ask like clarifying questions, right? Clarifying questions is like if they say I want it short on the sides. Okay, well, do you want a one on the sides? And they might say, oh no, a one is too short. Or they'll say, I don't want to see skin. Okay, so maybe I'll do like a 4 on the sides. Or, maybe I'll just do some scissor work on the sides. Like then you ask those questions like, short on the sides. Well, you ask them, hey, one, do you normally get clippers? Do you normally get shears? Like, what is it that you get on the sides? They'll tell you. Now you know, and you have a way to move forward and know what's going on. And the same thing for the top. Oh, I want it short on the sides. Even for as long as I've been doing this, even for barbers or for people that come in and say, oh, I want it wavelength. Okay. I know that wavelength for different types of hair is different gauge. So I asked him. So I'm saying, okay, you want wavelength. So you want the 1.5? Yeah, I want the one. I want a 1.5 guard. Okay, that's cool. Or they say no, I want a 2. I want a 2 guard all over. Okay, now I understand. Now I get it. And that goes into our next thing with that effective communication. It's and goes into our next soft skill, and that's attention to detail. Attention to detail starts with communication, right? And it continues into the actual process of cutting hair, and understanding and paying attention to the hair. Paying attention to the way that the hair grows, paying attention to the scalp, how the hair reacts to the clippers, like all of these different things. Like you have to pay attention to those things, right? The details of services are what is making barber prices go up, right? With so much information, barber skill levels are rising. There's so much information available in social media, internet, and everything like that. Barber skill levels are rising at a rapid rate because they have somewhere to learn and to look. So if you're not learning, if you're not educating yourself, you don't even know what it is necessarily that you need to look for, those sorts of things. And that's a problem. So you need to pay attention to the details of what you're doing, right? Don't treat your clients like money. Treat your clients like human beings who are giving you an opportunity because they are. Treat them like humans, right? Don't just, I'm going to rush through this haircut because I got a room full of people. No. I would, and this is me, I would rather people walk out and leave and you take your time and do haircuts the right way than for people to sit, than for you to rush and you got 4 people waiting on you and you rush through all 4 in an hour and now you just lost 4 clients because you didn't pay any attention to detail. Speed will come with time, but you have to learn the right ways to do things in the beginning. You have to learn the right ways to do things in the beginning. Or whatever phase you're in. It doesn't necessarily have to be the beginning. You have to learn the right ways to do things. Right? When you understand how to do things correctly, then you can take shortcuts. But if you're taking shortcuts and you don't know how to do things correctly, you're not paying attention to detail. You're just not. Right? And that attention to detail is important in that finalized look. There's a difference between a barber who pays attention to detail and a barber who rushes through. And I know I do know fast barbers that can do things with very quickly with detail. But when you talk to them about what they do, they understand how it works. And you have to understand how it works. Okay? You just have to understand how it works. That attention to detail, paying attention to precision, and things of that nature will come in time. It'll come over time, and it'll allow you to speed up. But you need to learn the correct way first. All right. Need to learn the correct way first. And which brings me into my one of my next points, and we'll it's a little different. We're gonna switch gears a little bit, but we're gonna talk about customer service, and we're actually gonna talk about customer service and time management together, right? Customer service is very, very important. Greeting the client when they walk in, communicating with the client. Now, am I saying that you have to be behind the chair and be an absolute chatterbox? No, but checking in with the client, seeing how the client is doing, seeing, hey, did you watch the game? If you watched, me personally, I was a sports guy. I've coached sports. I've done all those types of things. But when I'm at home, I usually don't watch a lot of sports unless my son wants to watch sports. I'll watch a game with him. But that's usually the only time that I will watch an entire game is with him. Other than that, I watch clips, Sports Center, things like that, to stay up to date on what's going on so that I can communicate with my clients about sports and all of those sorts of things. I do, right? That's what I do that because I feel like knowing and being up to date on current events is an important part of customer service, right? Another part, like I said, we're talking about greeting. We're talking about being up to date so we can have communications with clients, because some guys, especially the older guys, they know the barbershop to be a certain way. And so when the way that they understand the barbershop to be, you come in, you talk about sports, politics, news, and that's generally the big three. Now, me personally, and I feel like this should be a rule, I stay away from politics. That is not something that I will talk about. Now, what I trade politics for is personal development. I will talk a lot about personal development instead of being in the place of politics. And how do I curve politic questions or politic things? I say, man, I don't really care about politics. I got enough going on in my life. I'm trying to manage what I have going on. Politics is really not big for me. Now, honestly, I look at like I really, really am into politics, but I know that the barbershop is not the place to have that conversation. Now, I will say this. Now, there's only one type of politics that I will really kind of discuss, and that's the politics behind anything that has to do with barbering or things like that. But as far as like big politics, left and right, Republican, Democrat, independent, all that stuff, no, leave that stuff alone. Leave that stuff alone. I don't touch it. I don't talk about it, or anything like that. I just don't. Right? And so I leave that. I leave those things alone. And but I try to keep my language as clean as possible. I try to keep my language as clean as possible behind the chair talking to my customers. One, because I don't know a lot of I don't know anything about them, or if I do, even still, it's not professional, right? It's just not professional, and that's not the image that I want to portray in a shop. I also have, and one of the other things that really can mess up with customer service and things of that nature is time management. So my big rule for time management is that for I would say 75% of haircuts that I do, I can do those haircuts in probably 30 minutes or less. For about 75% of the haircuts. There's a 25% chance that it's going to take longer. And I'm just talking about haircuts. I'm not talking about a haircut and a beard. But it's a 25% chance that it's going to take longer for me to do said haircut. Right? So because I understand that, I book all of my appointments for 45 minutes with a 5-minute cleanup window. I add extra time for myself to have a cleanup window, to readjust to reset my station, all of those sorts of things, right? And that's also important of having your station set up the right way. You should know how your station is set up. You should be practicing, understanding, looking at it, figuring out new ways, and making sure that your station is ergonomically sound. Right? putting things back where they belong when you pick them up, all those sorts of things. But for the appointments, like I said, I schedule for about 50 minutes. And the reason that I do that is multiple reasons. One, if I get done early, if I get done in that 30-minute window, right, I can take a walk in. Now, if I have somebody that's supposed to be on the back end of that and I sneak a walk in the middle, I will communicate with the client when they come in and say, hey, I'm running about 5, maybe 10 minutes behind, so on and so forth. I'll communicate with them. But I'm also not in an extreme rush, right? I don't, when those walk-in clients, I want them to book appointments with me so that I can provide a nice service to them. I'm not going to rush the walk-in to get to my next appointment. Now, I understand, and I do try to keep it as, hey, look, I've got an appointment. If I've got appointments back to back, but sometimes there's just simple stuff that I can sneak in. You know, an elderly guy who's been waiting, who got the George Jefferson on top, I can sneak him in and get him in 20 minutes. 10 minutes if I'm working fast. Elderly guys like to talk. I like to talk to the elderly guys. So, it might take me 20, 25 minutes, to which I'm going to communicate with my people if I'm going to run over, hey, give me a couple minutes running behind just a little bit. But I book myself. So if I book myself like that on purpose, I try to leave gaps on purpose so that I can take walk-ins, and I can take walk-ins at a comfortable pace and a comfortable rate. That's time management, right? That's part of time management. I even have some time management things in the way that I actually cut hair. But we're not going to touch too much on that tonight. We will touch on it again. But next on our list is creativity. And creativity is important. And creativity actually kind of ties into the attention to detail and learning the precision and everything like that. When you learn the right way to do things, it allows you to be more creative. If you just learn cookie cutter skills, you only have cookie cutter skills. You can't mesh two skills together. And that's what you actually really need. That's what a haircut is, a mesh of multiple skills. But if you only have, hey, I only do this one way and that's it. That's the only way that I do it. If you do that, you're just going to have a lot of issues. You're going to have a lot of issues. And when clients come in and are requesting different styles and things like that, something that you weren't used to, if you don't know the foundation, you don't know how to connect them, right? And the creativity also connects to the adaptability. The adaptability to take your skill set and move it into another setting, another style, and things like that, right? And those creativity and adaptability kind of connect together. Right? I'm creative because I understand the foundation. I can adapt because I understand the foundation. I understand the foundation. Adaptability is also important in serving a diverse clientele. As a barber, you should be a chameleon, right? A professional chameleon. I'm not saying that you swing all the way to the higher level and all the way to the lower levels in the spectrum of society. You're pish posh here and you're ramen noodles here. I'm not saying that, but you can communicate and empathize and understand and communicate on both levels if you know how to communicate effectively. If you know how to communicate effectively on both ends of the spectrum, you can talk. And you can adapt to your different clientele. Like as a barber, you're going to have different people, right? I have doctors, lawyers, hospital administrators. I have trashmen. I have little kids, teenagers, retired men, working guys, people who just I can adapt in all of those situations and as far as being able to communicate effectively with them. Right? And I'll tell you a big secret for me and as far as the adapting piece. One of the things for me, I told you earlier, like I don't talk about politics. So if I get someone who may be down on their luck, my communication all automatically switches over to personal development and growth and looking at situations that they're discussing with me in a different light. That's how I do it. That's how I communicate. That's how I roll with them. Right? And some people don't necessarily like it, and that's cool. I'm not for everybody. I'm a barber that services the community. The community has an option to sit in my chair or not. I'm not this isn't an old shanty town and I'm the only barber in the community. No, they have options. They have options of where they want to go and what they want to do, and that's fine. I'm telling you my rules. You get in my chair and you come with some negative energy, we're going to probably talk about personal development at some point. Honestly, if you get in my chair, we probably going to talk about personal development at some point anyways. But I'm definitely going to try to gear it towards personal development if we're going to have a conversation. I have some clients that get in the chair, they tell me what they want, and the next time they say something to me is when they get out of the chair. That's the truth. Next time they'll say something to me is when they get out of the chair. It is what it is. But guys, listen, it is New Year's Eve. It is 11:51. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and in conclusion, look, man, guys, really look at these soft skills. Start and create a plan to grow and develop in these soft skills. So that's effective communication, attention to detail, customer service, time management, creativity, and adaptability. Those are some key things that'll really, really help you grow if you understand how to develop and take time to develop these skills. Develop those skills, right? Attention to detail is a lot different, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to touch on this real quick before I close. Attention to detail is different than learning the fundamentals, because you can have the fundamentals and pay no attention to what should be done. I just want to touch on that. I don't think I said that, but I do want to say that. But again, guys, Happy New Year. I'm excited to hear from you barbers as you grow. I hope that you can take some of this stuff away and you really start to see the effects within your barbering business, whether you have been a barber or you're growing as a barber. Growing as a barber, you're a barber student or anything like that. But guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. It's been real. And as the good dad jokes say, I'll see you guys next year. Thank you guys. Have a good night.